Morning.
Morning, John.
Good morning, Stephen.
Right, where are you today, Peter? What's the picture behind you?
This is a painting of Stonehenge.
Where are you today, John?
This is a photo of Stonehenge, but I'm in Solihull, really.
And I am at Stonehenge as well. And our fourth musketeer has arrived. I doubt, though, that he got the memo. All the way from Stoke.
He had to have a prehistoric background.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get the memo, and unfortunately, I'm on a Mac Mini, and it's not powerful enough for the green screen stuff.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
And also, I do have to apologise. I've got about 10 minutes because I've got to go to my son's.
Yeah.
But, an emergency issue, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 260
something.
Three, according to my reckoning, anyway. Okay. Now I've got a photograph I've got to show you before I forget, because it was sent in to me by a loyal viewer. So I'm going to switch my camera off, but you'll still be able to hear me. So my camera's going off, and I'm going to bring the image up on screen. And where is this, Peter?
This is me looking out of my back bed. Well, it's the front bedroom, but we'll only use the back, if you know what I mean. My back door's at the front door. My front's at the back, if you know what I
mean. Your front's
to the back door, please. So this is me looking out the bedroom window. Yeah, it's our garden down there. And just across there's, you won't see, it's the hospital. But remember the day that I filmed the plane in the sky? Was it the Spitfire? That's looking over to where the Spitfire is. So that's where I live. It's still snowing, and some days I like it, and some days I don't. And I'm not too happy about it today because it's a bit slushy today. Slushy, that's the word. And that is the view from our gaff. Thank you.
Okay. I'm still hearing voice. We've got the picture back. Say hello to Tish and hello to Corinda. Thank you for joining us. The agenda today is a bit sparse because I'm running a little bit late. So where would you like to start?
You know what I done today to start with before it says, you know, I'm always looking for good news for us. Yeah. So I found this. I'll do screen share.
Okay. I'm going to hide that.
Screen. Chrome tab. I'm just saying it as it goes. And I never thought I'd get it from this website.
What's it, Daily Mirror?
No, it's actually the BBC. And I put in Good News UK. So they've actually got a better website. They've actually got a better website with uplifting news. So I'll just nip through a couple. After not going out for nearly a year, Amy Claire Davis, 26, feels light at the end of the tunnel, smiling face. Doctor with rare syndrome set free by vaccine. The vaccine gives me my family freedom. There's a Welsh patron saint of livers, whatever that one happened. Used to be one of London's most notorious drug dealers, and how did she turn her life around? Man's hospital proposal after Christmas alone. He was obviously wanting to be with somebody the rest of his life. Critical care staff at the Royal Stoke University Hospital say pupils were behind the gift, and it was a load of pizzas for the kids. And children
the pizzas were for staff, Peter, and it was a gang of 17 and 18-year-olds just turned up at the hospital and gave them to them.
Very good. So that's your area, yeah?
Well, actually, it's more Stephen PH or Acid Stephen or whatever we want to call him. But it also made the front page of the Birmingham Post.
Right. The bad news is that they broke into the pizzeria to get all the.
And I'm going to, and then kids done that for their teachers, they put up artwork. And the last, I'll just show you this one, third time lucky after COVID delays. Mali LY received a kidney from her brother after the operation was postponed twice in 2020. So that's some good news. And remember how hard it was to get good news. So there you go. Put in Good News UK, and there's quite a lot of pages about good news. So, and I'll hand back to you, Stephen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so that's disappearing, and I can turn my camera back on. Right. Okay. So we are still at Stonehenge. That may change during the course of the next 50 minutes or so. Say good morning to Gregor, who's saying to Corinda, hope you get better soon. And then an update from Corinda. And Corinda is saying that he was admitted to hospital last night. Corinda, take care. You're a good friend of the show and a good friend of ours. And I hope that during the next hours and days, you actually are helped by the staff, because I know you've been suffering with seizures for quite a while now. And take care.
For Corinda.
Yeah.
Corinda, do you ever go to Neasden Temple in London? Neasden Temple, I don't know if that's your faith, but I used to stay around the corner from it. What a beautiful place. Have you ever seen Neasden Temple, guys?
Heard of it? I don't think I've seen it physically.
It's in the Wembley area of London, and it's just around the corner from me. And it's as though you're in India. It's amazing. And so let me know if you go there, if that's your faith. Anyway, that's me.
But no, as I say, I'm still putting the agenda together. So any help with that would be good.
Can I just jump in and say that it's light in the mornings now? 7:30 it's light, and 5 o'clock it's light in the afternoon, which is fantastic because spring is coming. Spring's coming along.
Yeah, spring sometime in March, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah.
We're hastening towards it.
It's just lovely that it's there's lots more sun. I mean, we've got a load of snow coming next week, but
yeah,
you know, it's just nice that it's just the sun. I love it.
I was just saying, my guys, don't worry, guys, don't be long. The wasps will be starting shortly.
It's good for you.
Since it's a bit quiet, I'll tell you about what's happening in Scotland. We're going to further lockdown at the moment, but I do believe there's, and I've got one in Aberdeen, that you had to have symptoms to go for a test. Well, what they've got now, they've got a centre in Aberdeen that you can actually go for a test now without symptoms, which is good because I want to know. And I'm also on a register, and I've done this a while back. There's a register to see if you've got antibodies to see if you've had it before, but I've never heard from them since. So that's what's happening in Aberdeen. You can go to a centre, but I don't know how you get to it yet. I don't know if it's
you go online, Peter. If you search for a COVID test and then a test near you, lots of my friends are doing it. So if you're going to work regularly, you go for a weekly. I'm not sure what type it is, lateral flow or something. But it's a thing now that you don't have to. You don't have to have symptoms, as you said. But it strikes me as a good thing. So I'll probably dump there sometime.
I was on Facebook the other day, and there's actually a Facebook group now for long COVID. If somebody's got long COVID, they're speaking on there what symptoms they've got, how they're feeling, etc., etc., etc. But personally, I'm absolutely feeling brilliant today. Brilliant!
What?
I'm feeling great.
Talking of good news then, and I think that, well, logistics-wise, we seem to have got it cracked. Because the question is, how many people in the UK have been vaccinated? And the answer is over 10 million.
Is that England and Wales, or does that include Scotland and Northern Ireland?
It's a good question, Peter. John's not correcting my figures yet, so none of the figures are reasonable.
So
yeah,
you're still in the UK. Pete.
Here's a good subject then. Talking about vaccines here. Did you see how quickly the Europeans put up that hard border in Ireland? What was that all about? Your views, please.
That's what you call a balls up, and it's almost one of the only ones they've made over 5 years of this Brexit crap. It's a very bad mistake to make, and they quickly reversed it.
Yeah,
but like what's happened on our side of the fence.
But you see how quickly they implemented it. Just put that down.
And then how quickly they rescinded it.
Yeah, but the problem is there's a lot of people in Ireland not happy about Ireland.
But just make sure when you talk about, did you see how quickly they ballsed it up? Yes, but did you see how quickly they rescinded it?
After all the commotion.
Yes, but as I said, did you see how quickly they ballsed it up and how quickly they rescinded it? Unlike,
I've got to say, I've seen Twitter and Facebook and things, amount of people and say, well, listen, I actually voted Remain, but wow, this has opened my eyes.
Oh, for goodness sake, Pete.
Yeah.
Have you seen I'm not getting upset anymore?
It's just the way I see it.
It doesn't get me upset anymore because there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, what's done is done, and we could have a Facebook page full of things that have gone wrong since the 1st of January. Probably one does exist somewhere, but it's good to have something that's actually gone right. Where
NHS UK doesn't define where UK is, so
I think it's run locally, John. I think it's run locally.
Which NHS UK produces daily figures of the number of vaccinations. Right. It just does not.
I've got to shoot, but I will be hopefully back on before you finish, and I'll if not, I'll see you next week. So have a fab one, guys.
Okay, take care, Stephen. Bye. And then there were 3, and we've got a spare part of the screen where we can screen share, which is good. Yeah, I mean the vaccines thing, Peter, they did get it wrong. They acknowledged they got it wrong, and it just shows how it shows how COVID is affecting government decisions, because nationally in Germany and France and Portugal especially, people are actually complaining that the response is not quick enough, and the governments are in a situation where they can't do anything about it because it's a collective buying process for the whole of the EU. And shouting at us won't help. Shouting at us never helps. I mean, as a Brit, if you shout at us, we get more and more entrenched in our views.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know?
So.
I'm actually looking up how many jobs in Scotland, and it's like hen's teeth. I'll forget that. That's
okay. And a reminder from Claire that Gove in another area threatened Article 16 earlier this month.
And of course, it's caused problems in Northern Ireland already, because it looks as though some loyalists were out in the street and they're putting up slogans and threatening people to go to their work as well. So it's a real dodgy situation at the moment.
Indeed. Right. Okay.
649,262 people as of the 3rd of February in Scotland vaccinated.
Any chance of a percentage of the population with that? Is that mentioned?
Funny enough, it's 14.29% of people over 16.
It's not a lot, is it?
Well, the UK chart. Sorry, John.
It's not that much different from England.
Well, okay. That's fair enough.
Okay.
Well, we're still on coronavirus.
Okay,
It's
sorry.
interesting that North Korea declares itself virus-free, but has ordered 4 million doses of vaccine.
Best to be safe. Best to be safe.
Oh, Rocket Man, he'll tell you anything, Rocket Man.
Yeah. But
Well, the thing is, he doesn't allow people in or out much, so therefore there is a good chance that they do have little no virus.
We've got hundreds of millions on order, enough to cover the population 5 times over.
It's crazy.
Hello to Fraser.
Just finishing off Peter's request.
Yeah.
Scotland is 14.29. England is 19.05. Wales is 17.86, and Northern Ireland is 16.7. I've got rid of that. Those are percentage of population over 16 that have been vaccinated as of yesterday.
Get on camera. Come on, get in here.
Right. Okay. That's an invitation from Peter Fraser. If you'd like to join us, you can. I'll just try and get the link and post it somewhere. Okay. Because Fraser is celebrating not only a new house, but fast internet. Okay. So the link to join us should be coming through. Yeah. I mean, gone are the days of low internet. Okay. If you can see it, that's the link to actually join us on screen if you wish, and we do have a space with your name on it. Okay, where shall we go from here? So we've done the snow. It's actually snowed down here the other week. We got snow. It was here for a couple of days as well. Which is unusual.
Are you near Middle Wallop?
It's somewhere between John and I think.
All right, yeah, that's where the Army Air Corps are.
Right, is that right, John?
It's East Wiltshire, I think.
Yeah.
So between you and let's go.
In there, Middle Wallop.
Right, let's move from Stonehenge. So 2 out of 3 people have got Stonehenge pictures, and okay, so the link is there if anybody would like to join. And I've run out of stories. Okay, so what I'm going to do is whilst we're waiting for some to join us, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to share my screen and do a screen share with a Chrome tab, and that Chrome tab is the best newspaper in the UK, and I'm going to bring that up on screen. Okay, so we're now being joined by the best newspaper in the UK, and as I put the Guardian full screen, right, okay, this is the news in the UK from the Guardian, and I'm just going to go to the top of the page so we can go for the headlines. What's happened to Liverpool, John? Wheels have fallen off.
Yeah, well, they've fallen off at the Villa Park as well. So
yeah,
I think we both lost.
Burnley helped too, I think, as well. Okay, right. Let's try and find something. I mean, you can read the headlines as I'm scrolling, and if you spot anything you'd like to talk about, then basically just say yes, please, and I'll click it and go there. Okay.
What about these poor people? COVID jobs crisis.
Yep. Okay. Let's find out a bit more. COVID jobs crisis in The Guardian. The gaps in the furlough, Peter.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. I know people that just started their business right to COVID, right? Now, the problem is, how are these people surviving? How are they surviving? They've got mortgages or rent and whatever, and they've just started a little business. What are they doing? They're not getting a penny from the government. Oh, not sure if they don't get a penny, but they get this universal credit, which is, I think, is about £95 a week, something like that.
Universal credit's dependent on your circumstances. It's statutory sick pay that's £95 a week.
Yeah, I had to pay that out, and I don't know. I really feel guilty when I see the stories and coming up, and people are actually pleading for help, and food banks, and to be honest with you, it's a different world for me. I just haven't. I know I've been down.
I don't know about you guys. If you can hear me, I'm getting a recording from someone.
You're getting a what?
Okay.
I can't hear anything spurious.
You can't hear anything? Okay,
No.
it must have just been at my end then.
Yeah.
Okay, these things are sent to trials and update. Oh, we say good morning to
Nick Fraser.
Okay. And Fraser said need to tweak his cam settings, and Fraser has tweaked his cam settings, and we say good morning to.
Good morning, chaps. How are you?
Hello.
Again.
How's it going, Peter? Nice seeing you for a while.
I'm snowed in. We met in the kebab shop one night. Fraser was drunk. And his wife.
Not. My wife and I were merely merry. We had just stumbled out of the casino having won. We were actually in pocket, so time for a kebab. And there was Peter chatting to everybody, networking offline. What can I say? The Talkinator was in full motion.
Something I've got to tell you. What an entertainment after being to the pub. You know, I'm 17 years without alcohol. But I love sitting in the kebab shop, and you'll never get so much laughter in all your life. You know, it's so funny. And I actually meet people that I know, as you say. It could be the nicest receptionist. Hello, Mr. Stewart. How can I be? And then you see them in the kebab shop with short skirts falling about the place, sauce all over them. No, I'll let him have a say.
No.
That's fascinating, John. Will we get a? Yeah, of course we'll get a word in.
It's been revolutionary. The first thing I watched with my new broadband was John Upton's Christmas snow globe and how to make it. I mean, so I went from 2.5 megabits per second to 60. And the first thing I see is John showing everybody how to use InVideo to create a snow globe. Absolutely loved it. It was great. Hiya, Claire. How are you? Long time no see. Hope you're well.
So how's your business doing? I haven't seen much of you just recently.
Yeah, well, last summer, I caught sepsis, and I was in an IV for 10 days in hospital, and it was touch and go whether I was going to make it or not. So I had to put my health first, and I've had an air cast, nearly lost a leg and everything else. Had an air cast on for 6 months, so I had to take time out, focus on myself, and that's been absolutely brilliant. I finally got the big tick just on Monday there, so you'll probably see that first thing I did was contact Stephen and say, the parky of the internet, I've got fast broadband, let's get to this live streaming again. And yeah, I did some live networking on a platform called Remo. Have any of you come across it?
Yeah.
I think it's very clever because it takes like a hotel room or a meeting room and it puts a plan view of it on screen and the people's faces, like what we've got here, but it puts the faces on the chairs around each of the tables and you can just network and click on each of the tables and go between them. Very clever, and picked up some business from that. And yeah, back on form, to be honest, Peter, but got to focus on the goals and just got to make it happen, have you?
Just to let you know, I haven't been out for ages, and my business, I'm a bit guilty, but it runs without me. It's running without me, you know? And the guys are out working, and I'm just sitting here. And so I've got the talking here back up. So you've got an invite to come and have an interview with me.
Well, hey, that sounds like fun.
But we can do that. It's kind of Aberdeen based anyway.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that later. But it's nice. Where have you moved to?
You just need to be aware, though, Fraser, that when you get interviewed by Pete, you find it hard to get a word in edgeways because he never stops talking.
Well, I do remember one thing about Peter. I don't think he's ever mentioned it publicly, but he did actually drive a tank down the middle of Berlin. But I remember that.
Well, he never stops bloody reminding us that he's spent time in Berlin.
It's time. So I'll hand over these two in a second. Where have you moved to? What area?
I'm actually in the Yardie in Bucket. Now, I would never, ever have thought I would have moved to Bucket in my life. But the yard is like Crovey or Pennon. I don't know if you can do a quick Google search and pick up a picture of Crovey or Pennon, Stephen. But there's only about a few houses here. I'm 30 steps from the North Sea. I'm networking daily with dolphins and seals. And the creativity is just going in overdrive. I've done another book in January to add to the 21 on Amazon. I've got a new course coming out, which Stephen will be getting excited about. And it's all about grow your business webinars, how to plan, present, and promote them. And there's some stuff with Stephen coming out in the back of that. Yeah, exciting times, to be honest. But bought my buggy right on the Murray Firth.
Yeah, it's a brave place to go to. I've heard about Bucky when they've had a drink.
I would never have thought, genuinely, Bucky, you think, no, but it's beautiful. I'll put some pics in later on when I remember.
Just to let you know about Bucky, guys, are really a fishing area. It went really fishing. But you find that most of the people in Bucky actually work in the oil rigs now, because a brother gets them on and a cousin gets them on, and a lot of them became stewards, and they go on the supply boats, and they go on the North Sea. They've got little boats. All they do is they're safety boats, and they're going for a month on, month off, and all they do is float around each rig. Yeah, and then the Piper Alpha, boy, did they do their job for years. They sat there, and then when the Piper Alpha went up, some brave people on there. In fact, some lost their life. Oh, who's that? Fraser, you need it. Stephen will tell you. He'll send you a link to something that you need.
Peter, tell Fraser about Crisp.
Crisp. You need it. See your dog barking just now. If you get Crisp, Crisp, Stephen will see a link because he's an affiliate, right? You download that and we wouldn't hear your dog.
Really?
Yep.
No.
Wait a minute. Let's hope it. Can you hear this?
Yeah. We could hear that fine.
Wait a minute.
Right, but you wouldn't be able to hear. It's noise cancellation, and the thing is that Peter and I know it works. Insofar as we've had scaffolders erect scaffolding all around the house while they did the roof, and while I was broadcasting for those weeks, nobody heard a thing. I could hear it, but it wasn't transmitted, because the only thing that gets transmitted is your microphone, and that cuts out all external sounds. So we don't hear, normally we don't hear extraneous sounds, and that can be as much as drinking your coffee. We can't hear anybody drinking coffee, which is good.
It's a great
sound
my
people
dogs
around
bark
you.
outside, and you can't hear them. Stephen had roofers above him one day. Stephen Healy did, and they were banging and everything. Never heard. I had neighbours outside this is my garage office. My neighbours were thumping away, and I'm saying, "What a noise!" And they never heard a word. KRISP.
Is that .co.uk?
But Stephen will give you a link, so he gets a bit for it.
It's crisp.ai, Fraser.
.ai.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll definitely check that one out. Thanks, guys. See, every time I come on here, I learn something new. What can I say?
we had a telephone conversation by text the other day, and you mentioned a product called Cover R, yeah?
Yeah.
I went and had a look, played with it, and I've bought it.
Could you put a link for that, please?
It's called Cover Studio, and it only came out, I think it was tail end of last week. It's so you can top and tail your videos. And Stephen suggested to me to look at in video, and of course I typed it into Google. The first thing I saw was John Upton creating a snowball and his photograph of the grandkids, and I thought, so I watched that. I think it's cover.io. I could be wrong.
It's two R's, COVERR, and I think it's .net. Hang on, I've got it open. It's covered studio. So it's sales.coverr.studio.
And it's quite cheap. It's only a one-off fee as well. It's not a monthly subscription.
Well, there is a monthly subscription option, but I've only bought the entry-level product.
Okay, because I was another one today called Dub.
Buy the Pro version, which allows you to do a couple of things that the standard done. But the standard, what it gives you is lots of the things that people have been asking for in video and don't have it in video, i.e. a timeline, a timing bar, so you can put a bar on, and as your video goes on, it progresses, and a whole host of other things. But it's not a video maker, it's a video enhancer.
Yeah.
In video is a video maker. So if you already have a video that you've created by other means and you want to turn it into a meme, or as the Brummies say, a meme, it's perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. And it handles all sorts of different sizes. So if you're doing stories on Instagram, it's got 9:16 for that. And if you and the other thing it does is it does captioning. So you can add captions to an in-video video or any other video using the .srt format.
Now,
it's got a music library as well. Sorry.
Yeah, music library is not very exciting.
John on YouTube has got, I wish I'd looked at it at the start. I've bought in video and as usual. John, it would be great if you could go number 1, 2, 3, 4 from the beginning in your YouTube.
If you go to my YouTube, just type John Upton, and that's John with an out and H. Yeah, it will take you to my channel for in video, and there are 2 playlists. The top playlist is the most viewed 12, and the second playlist shows you all 34. There were almost 60, but some of them were on such old versions that we've got rid of them because they're just not relevant anymore. But there are 34 videos there that you can watch that show you how to use in video. So the top one's in number of views order, and the bottom one is the latest date working backwards.
Okay, that's great. And I've got to say, Fraser, you've obviously got a good camera and internet because you're coming through very clear just now.
Very clear.
Yeah, well, I was 2.5 up upstream at the old place, and I was only 0.5. Sorry, I was 2.5 downstream in the old place, and 0.3 to 0.5 on up. So And yet, Stephen and I had a book on Amazon and live video streaming it. And can I get BT OpenReach? I even took it to the minister in Scotland, and I said, "Look, I even know the cabinet number in my exchange. The cabinet number is 7. It's been there since 2017. My neighbour 60 yards away has got it, but I couldn't get faster broadband. Couldn't believe it."
So you had to move to get faster broadband.
Yeah.
I told you lived in the sticks. So are you using a hardwire just now? Is it hardwire?
Well, no, but funnily enough, I picked up a good tip. No, this is just Sky broadband, and I think I got a deal being a Scotsman because I hate spending money, but I got the Sky phone, the TV, and the fast broadband for about 25 quid a month, right? But I've put an Ethernet cable, run it from the what do you call it?
The router.
Yeah, from the router under the floor, up the stairs, and I can periodically just plug in the Ethernet cable here at the back of the laptop should I choose. But the normal wireless is really, really good. The quality is good.
Next to you, Stephen.
Yeah, it's time for our Deco story.
Cool.
Deco are a British company who provide Wi-Fi units that work. That's the end of the story. Basically, just Pete, tell your story first, and then I'll go to a new story. Because
What happened to me with cables? My partner hates my messiness and cables and everything. And when I came out here, we had a bad problem. I had to change computer. These guys helped me. And I said, right, I'm getting someone in to look at laying a cable from the house, out the garden, dig it. She goes, there's no way you're doing that. I says, okay. He says, we can take it from the bedroom and we can take it across. She goes, there's no way you're doing that. And I just mentioned it to Stephen. So we've got this thing called Deco, D-E-C-O, right? Stephen's an affiliate for it, I think. And it's wireless, and I'm actually on it right now, sitting in my garage. And it's absolutely fantastic. And you can because I've got a feeling you might be in sick. Are you in an old granite building, by the way?
Well, here, it's I'll give you a laugh. When you sit downstairs and you look towards the front door, the wall is actually like that. It's about 120 years old, I think.
Right, okay.
And,
so it will be. So Deco, if you get them put throughout your house, right, it gives you really strong Wi-Fi. And not only that, when you're on the computer, you can actually divert the resources to it more than anything else.
well, on that point, I upgraded my System Mechanic to System Mechanic Ultimate Defense, and I think it was $30. Now, not only if you've just got a standard Windows laptop, this piece of kit is brilliant because not only does it manage your memory and free a couple of gig of memory for you, it gets rid of all your temporary files. But what I didn't know is when you get an update from Windows, it can take up to 30% of your available broadband space just in doing a Windows update. And it doesn't always clear. So you're permanently losing up to 30% of your available broadband because Windows allocates that space for doing updates. However, with System Mechanic, what it does is you can change in the privacy options. You can get rid of everything from digital fingerprints and also making sure that all the resources on your laptop are totally optimized and freeing up your broadband. So 30% more broadband, 2,000% faster from the old place to the new place. And I've saved money on what I was spending with BT and that System Mechanic. $30, I think it was. Brilliant.
I've turned automatic Windows update off. So I just get a note to say there's a Windows update available. I update, and I always reboot my router after a significant update.
Good move.
That's an interesting one.
Good move. Right,
Too
now
much
to add
I have the advantage that I'm now touching my router, even though I'm in an upstairs room. My router is upstairs, and literally, because I'm fortunate to have a slightly faster than you have there, because I get 970 megabits down. But that's one of the advantages of living in a conurbation rather than to being in a pretty country village.
Well, I'm 60 miles north of Peter in the Highlands of Scotland and 14 miles past the back of beyond and about 14 yards from dolphins and seals. So what can I say?
I'm 8.5 miles south of Birmingham city centre. So
I used to stay in Aldridge 20 years ago.
That's northeast.
Yeah.
Aldridge. I'm south. I live in Solihull. I don't live in Birmingham. I live in Solihull.
Got you.
Everybody says Solihull is the posh, expensive area, but the rates, or whatever you want to call them, are more expensive in Birmingham than they are in Solihull. The council.
It used to take me about an hour and 5 minutes from the RAC building to get into Five Ways roundabout in the middle of town. I mean, the journey in the morning was just a nightmare getting into Birmingham.
Well, in the early 1980s, going back a few years, I used to work for Applied Computer Techniques, ACT, which became Apricot, and I was based at ACT House, which is 111 Hagley Road and is literally a stone throw away from Five Ways Island. And it took me forever to get up that damned hill to get to Five Ways Island, and then you'd have to go along, and then you'd have to U-turn a mile down the road to come back, because dual carriageway with a blooming fence in the middle and no ability to turn until you'd gone like a mile down the road.
Yeah, one of the best marketing advertising campaigns I ever saw caused about 4 crashes as I went into the middle of Birmingham. And it was the launch of the Wonder Bra was put in a huge billboard.
Hello, boys!
And everybody was looking at it, bang, bang, bang. Yeah. So I thought, there's advertising that's working.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Poor Stephen's with the lead. Talking about traffic, I mean, for so long, I've been self-employed now, Fraser, and I don't go out until about, if I need to go, I'll leave it until about 9:30, 10 o'clock because of the build-up of traffic in Aberdeen. And one day I forgot, and I went on to the Langstracht just at 9, and I was cursing myself because of the traffic in Aberdeen. But the bypass is much better now. There was 2 crashes on it yesterday, by the way.
Was there really?
Yeah, there was 2. The roundabout. We know. I'm a cyclist, and it's really bad there.
I've seen you streaming with you out cycling and with you out walking, Peter, around Aberdeen. I've seen you.
You've been watching me. I get folk from Birmingham and everything. I've got one guy that follows me on a map, John Upton. But you know, it's amazing the amount of people that look in. But do you know what really that annoys me? I'll try and make conversation. People won't even type.
Aye.
They won't type. So come on, you're going to listen to me, or I'm wanting some conversation. And it is difficult. And I've never seen people so shy. But some people like my walks. They tell me after. You know?
It's interesting. I was having a conversation with a guy about doing stuff on LinkedIn. And he was going on about how many likes he was getting. And I said, I says, but how often is the phone ringing? And he says, what's your point? He says, I only have to do one post. And he says, I'm getting hundreds of likes. And I said, yeah, but how's the business going? And what I tried to tell him was, you might get peers and friends liking your posts, but your customers and your clients aren't going to like them. They're going to pick up the phone and want to talk to you if they can relate to what your post is about, be it a video, be it an image, be it text. And a lot of people watch in silence, view in silence, listen and not comment. So likes, I think, it's like the old turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. I think likes are vanity, but getting the phone to ring from all of our posts and our videos and stuff is one of the factors that's pushed me into produce the new course and the new tools for this year. So getting excited about that. But loads of folk are talking about you, Peter. They're always talking about you, you Louis Walsh lookalike you.
That days are gone because Louis is actually retired.
Oh, is he?
He's not retired. He's not next. He's over. I'm scared to go to Dublin, because I'll be overwhelmed if I go to Dublin. Because that's how it all started. There was a woman from Dublin watched me in a pub one night, just standing, and I could see her staring with her boyfriend. And I'm saying, what have I done? And I kept looking away. And I became a bit, oh. And the next thing, she came up to me, and right into my face, looked up. I'm little, as you know, and she looked up and said, "You're the spit of Louis Walsh." And I went, "Who's he then?" And then somebody else came up and said, "Louis Walsh." And it was so funny, but it was a Dubliner. It basically made me aware of it. And it was a bit of fun. That's how I got into singing, as you know. I got into singing because of that. And it kind of changed my life. Peter's Walk. Oh, I look from Belgium, especially at Peter's Walk with the dogs, Poppy and Pepper. And so you just, and I don't know if you know, but every time I do that, I mention my business if I can. Not just a little Aberkil. Here's the thing. Do you use something called next door? All one word. Next door. Something you might look at. I went on there. It's all the neighbours. Used to have another name. It was called something else before. Your Street or something, was it, John?
Street something or other before it became.
Yeah.
Up
No,
Street. Was it?
It was something street. But the problem is you have to make a personal account. If you've got a business, you have to make a business account. You get 2 free adverts or 2 mentions. Then basically they want you to pay for an advert. But to me, the first time I went on it, I made $1,000. You know? And so it's quite good. And it might be good. I put up a post about cycling. Now I've got a cycling group in it. Over to you, John.
What's over to me? You fed up of talking? Come on. I don't believe you're...
Yeah.
I can come back now. No, it's fascinating. Catching up. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, because as I say, I haven't got much news. There isn't much news about today, strangely enough.
Can I talk a little bit about tech and COVID and be controversial for a minute?
Because it goes with the territory. If you're from Scotland, you have to be controversial.
Well, putting disinformation, misinformation, and conspiracy tinfoil hats to one side, did you know that Bill Gates has registered a patent that turns physical activity into mining cryptocurrency?
I did read that.
And if you do a search on Google, Bill Gates patent COVID cryptocurrency or Bill Gates patent cryptocurrency, you'll see it. It was registered in March last year. So we've got the Elon Musk going on about transhumanism and trying to link devices to individuals and doing implants and whatever to have the AI integration. Well, Bill Gates has actually got the patent so that whilst we're sitting doing stuff, or if we're being more active, it'll convert into a cryptocurrency and it links the human to any kind of device via a server. Come on, Stephen, you're the techie. Get your head around that and explain it to me.
As soon as you mentioned the word cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, I just switched off. I mean, it's not logical. It's not logical. There's something that does exist can actually have value on you. That's true of quite a lot of things. On a staying with Bill Gates, though, Bill Gates is quietly buying up all the American farmland he can.
Yeah. I wrote a blog about that a couple of weeks ago, and it is millions of acres the guy now has, and he's the largest private agricultural landowner in the US. Now, why is he doing all that?
I don't know. It's obviously he has a strategy. He who owns the farms owns the food.
Yeah.
But they're all horse ranches. They're not wheat farms and things like that. They're horse ranches.
Ah,
Horse what? Ranches.
Yeah, they're ranches for horse breeding. They are.
That's when we will run out of fuel and we'll use horsepower.
I think
Oh right, okay. So we can't miss this one. Why is Bill Gates buying up all this land? Punchline is.
to create his server farms. Oh,
Oh, Claire.
oh my God, Claire, you're so funny. His missus was interviewed on the interview the other day, and she was talking about it was something to do with their daughter and an investment to allow their daughter to breed horses.
oh, okay.
Sorry?
I see in China they've allocated shed loads of land for creating COVID centres, clinics, hospitals where they're, I'll say detaining, but they're putting people, quarantining people.
Mhm.
But what's interesting, these hundreds, if not thousands of acre-sized locations, they've been able to build these hospitals and quarantine centres in days. In a couple of websites, there's been like fast motion video where you've seen the build of these amazing places getting done very, very quickly. I mean, if that was the UK, 8 months after the project started, they'd still be looking around a hole debating what time coffee break.
Apart from the Nightingale Hospital in London, which isn't typical, but I mean that was built in the UK, but the Chinese do have a way of actually.
The differential there is that the Nightingales are all inside existing buildings. These are building the bloody buildings as well.
Yeah. From a green field to finished in like 5 days. I mean, there's some of these, some videos on YouTube show the construction, how quick they do. It's crazy.
They're prefabricated concrete, so they're actually created in a factory and then assembled on site.
Yeah.
Got you.
So I've got a question for you, my friend in Bucky. When you
Yep.
get offered the vaccine, are you taking it? You don't have to answer.
Well, I've got a confession. I've got a phobia of needles. And the jury's out on that one. Mind you, I've got 4 daughters who are all nurses. And my daughter heads up the COVID ward at ARI in Aberdeen. And not that Dad's skeptical. Dad just has a lot of questions because he's ignorant, like most of the population. And I started asking if I was to get a vaccine, what's in it? Because I know that for a medicine to be approved, it needs what's called a product license, because I used to sell products made from seaweed that had great health benefits. And I was ever banging heads with the Medicines Control Agency. And it can take up to 2 years to get the approval of a particular medicine, and then to do your clinical trials, and then to get the feedback and get the stamp of approval. And it starts at about £500,000. The thing that gets me, and I could be wrong, is that we've had cancer for over 100 years and we still don't have a cure. But with this, it would appear that within a year of this going, not just an epidemic, but a pandemic globally, we're able to identify the cause, we're able to create a solution, we're able to fast track clinical trials research, we're able to get people to test it, trial it, give us feedback, fine tune and tweak this particular solution, and we've gone into production, overproduction. The market demand is so great, somebody somewhere is making a shed lot of money, And the kicker, which I can't believe, is vaccines get round a lot of the legality to do with launching a medicine. However, I had this debate over 1 or 2 Stellas with my daughter. In fact, we had a Zoom call with the family. We're having a family quiz. And I said, so what's in this vaccine? And my daughter said a very valid question back to me. Dad, what's in your coffee? What's in your Stella? What's in your crisps? You don't know. We do not know what the ingredients are with the amount of stuff that we put into our body. Who are we to question what the authorities are doing? However, there still isn't a cure for cancer, and that's been over 100 years. Trillions have been invested, but there's nothing in production getting rolled out. But here we have for the pandemic. I don't know. It's just
the lady that pioneered the Oxford vaccine. She was interviewed on TV and she was asked that question, how can you do it so fast? And her answer was there's 200 other COVIDs that came before this one. And all we've really done is modify another COVID solution to fit the characteristics of this COVID.
And they're saying there's different strains coming all the time, apparently. Is that right?
Well, there's mutations, yeah.
Yeah. I've got to tell you, I was
Scottish mutation to appear.
Yeah. I've got to say to you, Fraser, I was asked yesterday what I would do if I was in charge. And I have to tell you, my friend, although I like you and I've met you and everything, if you don't take that vaccine, when I rule the world, you're going into a prefabricated building and you're going to be staying.
We had. Sorry, I just want to speak for a moment. Thank you. We had a show yesterday, and it's a round table. There are 9 of us. Peter, myself, and Jim Ziegler was there, who we all know. Now, we know that you can't get any more right-wing than Jim. He's a gun-toting Republican, and he was shocked yesterday by Peter. Peter put forward such a right-wing view that Jim thought he was a liberal. Just one of those moments. Yeah.
Well, everything now, I mean, since last year, we've seen entire industries desecrated because of this COVID. I mean, hospitality's out, the airline industry's out. And you're right, Peter, we're now being told that you are not going to be able to travel unless you've got a vaccination and you've got your stamp and your bit of paper to prove it. And that's created a market for fake certificates. So there's a new industry coming out where people are selling you paperwork to say that you've been approved and vaccinated so you can go and do X, Y, and Z. And I think that there's going to be much tighter control on the movement of people, and it would appear the movement of money as well. I mean, very interesting times how this is all going to pan out.
Just to note, for anyone who's been watching the show for the last couple of weeks, my eye test was this week, and I am now totally okay because the test showed that I don't have glaucoma. I am at risk of getting it. I've got a 6-monthly checkup, but what I thought was going to happen isn't going to happen, and I'm very happy about that. Which brings us to the close of the show. So it's over to Mr. John Upton in Solihull.
Time already. Gosh, that today flew. You'll have to come in more often, for because definitely made it more fun than normal. Yeah.
What do you think about that, Peter? Come on.
Has anybody here had the vaccine?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
No.
Both of my children are being done in the next few days because they're both, well, Alice is nursing staff and Phil's a medicines technician in a very large care home. So they've both been offered the vaccine in the next couple of days. In fact, Alice was offered it 3 weeks ago, but she doesn't want the Pfizer one because she wants another little girl or another little boy. And rumour has it that the Pfizer at her age group, late 20s, can make you sterile, basically. So, having discussed all sorts of things, having started out in Stonehenge and renewed an online friendship that we haven't had Fraser on for a long time. We're looking forward to seeing more of him with his 60 megabit up or down or whatever it is.
Sideways.
Yeah, I get more than 60 meg up, but we won't go into that. So thank you all for watching us. Get better, Corinda. We need you as a proper everyday on here feeling good person.
Well done with the eyesight, Stephen.
Thank you.
And it's goodbye from two of them up there.
He's further up north than me.
Yeah, I know. He's just to the right of Lossymouth. Goodbye from my friend in Wiltshire, who is nearer Stonehenge than me, and I'm in the centre of England, near Birmingham Airport. So it's it doesn't matter who you are. You're always in different places on the screen, wherever you are, Fraser. So it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from all three of them, and goodbye from Stephen, who had to leave us early today, and because he had a bit of a family emergency. So we'll see you all next week. Oh, and don't forget, Stephen and I will be on later at 4 o'clock. Bye.
Well, you'd forgotten.
Take care, guys.
Bye.